What's up, guys? Luigi Knight here. StudFit here for another episode of Kart Talk. Joined by my good friends. This mustache is not going to stay here the whole time. I can promise you that. Joined by my good friends for another episode of Kart Talk, where we talk about everything that's going on in the Mario Kart Tour universe, and we have a lot going on. We'll be in this episode discussing this autumn tour that's not so autumny. It's more just a city tour, just with absolutely nothing else to do with autumn. We'll be talking about the upcoming animal tour and all the different new alts without any DK stuff. Like we'll get into that and we'll probably have pitchforks in our hands by the end. Talk a little bit about the spotlight shop, me suits, investments going on with caps and etc. So we got a lot to get into. But before we do, I first have to welcome back our super stud, Frenzygrind. It's been a while, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me back. I know it's been a while. Life gets in the way, but I'm always thrilled to be here. So thank you for the invite.
And obviously, Frenzygrind living just outside of or slightly inside of
New York City. Couldn't miss the New York tour. Couldn't miss it.
Yeah, so the New York Minute, I mean, he's literally driving through New York itself just to get home, just to play Mario Kart Tour and be back in the city that he just
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing at the mustache.
Mustache is not hanging. It's not multiple. Apparently, not a multiple use mustache. It was like the stickiness is all gone. So we'll see. And so probably you should talk about me wearing the night suit. I talked a little bit about on the rundown, but yeah. So I put all my eggs in the shielded speedster basket. My prediction was last Kart Talk that it would be ranked twice. Actually, I think it might have been the rundown last tour, but talked about it being ranked twice this tour. And thank God it wasn't. It only got 2 buffs, which I consider a win. But sometimes you got to lose the battle to win the war. So pretty stoked about my Shield Speedster, but I did hypothetically lose the bet. So I'm taking one step further. I felt bad. My helmet wasn't in time. So I wanted to make sure that I checked every box and fulfilled my promise to dress up as a knight for you guys as more for your entertainment than nothing else. And hey, why not, right? So that's obviously the very glaring, interesting piece that I probably should have explained. But let's jump into the other guests. We have 3 that are here due to our member multiplayer Monday contest that we had over the course of October. We just kicked off our November contest for battle mode multiplayer, and it's not too late. You only use 2 of the weeks over the course of the month. So if you want to become a member, you want to compete, you want to be on Kart Talk, not too late. Take a look at our membership. Yeah, it's gone. So we had Raz, who is our reigning champion. Congratulations, Raz. Welcome, man. How are you doing? It's been a while.
Hey, pretty good. Thanks. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna win though for battle. I'm really bad at battle. So
we'll be talking a lot about battle mode. It takes a unique skill, man. I will be honest with you. I did a much better day 1 when no one else knew what they were doing, but now I get into it, I'm getting crushed left and right. So it's a tough one. In second place, we had Draco, who was won 4 times in a row for our competition. So you've seen him plenty times on Kart Talk, thanks to the competition. But thanks for taking it easy on Raz, at least one month. Congratulations, Draco, on number 2.
Thank you. That was a fierce battle. I think you won by 1 point, but regardless, thank you so much for having me back. It's always a pleasure to be here and seeing those beautiful faces and new faces. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk, and thank you for having me, man.
And if you haven't checked out Draco's channel, he just broke 1,000 subscribers. He's probably close to 2,000 by now. But we're obviously a big fan of Draco. Definitely check him out at Draco655 on YouTube. You also notice I'm wearing my Matt Aldridge shirt. I'm also rooting on our other mod and also YouTube channel extraordinaire here on the channel. Matt Aldridge does a phenomenal job, covers a lot of all cup ranking and other things. I honestly I need to get into the auto clicker for the Apple iPhone that I've been putting off a long time. I got a couple of days here, so I'll be preparing that, but definitely check out Matt Aldridge's channel as well. And then third place, Wooloop, welcome, man. So Wooloop has actually joined us a number of times on the tour reaction. You've probably heard his voice. He's a huge fan of the record setter. What's your thoughts on the record setter unfortunately falling outside the top 10? How are you feeling? You might be on mute if you are talking, Wooloop.
Oh, I'm here. I'm actually really excited for next tour because they'll finally get some more use, and hopefully it gets at least a couple of buffs, knowing that at least Sky Garden's back.
I was gonna say it has some good sky karting tracks, and so it's nice to have that back. We got a lot of tracks coming next tour. I'm pretty stoked. And I like the city tours, but it'll be nice to actually look at what coverage I have and start to invest appropriately. And then last but not least, the Godfather, Godmode. Welcome, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good. Life's great. Happy. Life is awesome.
That is what I love to hear, man. So many of you guys have been on for at least one other time. I think this is maybe Godmode's third and Raz's second. But Wooloop, this is your first time here. So we'll love to hear your story. What's your background? When did you get started in Mario Kart Tour? On the whale scale, kind of where do you fall there? And what are some things about the game that brings you joy?
So I got into Mario Kart Tour at launch, so back in 2019, and I consider myself more of the Gold Pass user. I don't really buy packs. I just go for the Gold Pass because it's worth it.
Gold Pass is definitely the best bang for your buck. I agree there. Good, man. Well, maybe you'll start us off on the icebreaker. So the icebreaker is, what is your favorite city track? Specifically, if you want to include the variation, bonus points to you. But what is your favorite city track in Mario Kart Tour? Obviously, the cities are, a double-edged sword. We love the cities, but we know they don't come back very often. We'll discuss how that's changing now. But I think the city part, I mean, that's why we keep playing the game. You can play, some of these other tracks on different versions of Nintendo's different series, but we love the cities deep down inside, even though we're kind of getting tired of them by now. But there's got to be one that when you jump onto it, when you open up and see like the loading screen, you're like, I cannot wait to run this track again. Wooloop, what would that track be for you?
For me, that track is definitely, it has to be London. I just love the music for that track.
Which one was it? To be clear, which track?
London Loop.
London Loop. Any variation? Just the regular?
I like the T version.
T version. Okay. All right, man. Yeah, I think London's kind of controversial. There's some people that don't like it, but I think it's a fine track. It's been a while since we've seen London. I feel like it's probably been the Halloween tour since we last saw it, but let's start in reverse order there. Godmode, what's your favorite city track in Mario Kart Tour?
I don't know. I think for a long time it was New York because they never brought it back, and I always wanted to play it. But now that they have brought it back, I would say it maybe dropped a little bit because the tracks are really short, and I didn't realize that because you hadn't played them in so long. If I had to choose a city, I would probably go with Vancouver. If not Vancouver, I like Bangkok. I think Bangkok is awesome. I think the setup, I just think just the whole layout of the track is beautiful. So I would probably go with Vancouver or Bangkok. Half and half, I'd say.
Both good answers. I think your original answer had New York in it, so I have to jump to Frenzygrind. I'm assuming that's got to be your number one too, right? It's just racing your own backyard.
I mean, I'm shocked by that answer, because you live in LA, Godmode. I was expecting LA. I was expecting it. Bangkok is great.
Well, see, the thing, the real thing about LA is that's not LA. I see the track and I see the oil fields and I see all this stuff.
No, not two. LA Laps 1.
What's your opinion of 1?
I think 1 is actually a pretty beautiful track, in my opinion. I do. I like 1. I do. I think I could live with that.
No, two's a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, a lot of them are the 2. For me, the layout is not my city. I don't know. I think it's just
all right.
not.
That's fair enough.
But for the most part, I think most of them are pretty good. You know what I mean? I prefer maybe like a Vancouver or something like that. But yeah, I got love for LA though too.
Now, also in your defense, LA may not include, like Huntington Beach and some of these beaches that it's actually taking place.
Yeah, I know.
So for what it's worth, but it's close enough. We'll take it. Obviously the beach is beautiful. In fact, LA Laps just regular is my favorite track. So to answer that question, I got your back there, Godmode. It's my favorite track. It's my favorite track. But actually, now that you're talking about Bangkok, I had a lot of fun in Bangkok. All the variations. Some weird stuff, I think, on the reverse with the piranha plants and doing some weird stuff. But
yeah, they always put one quirky little track. You know what I mean? Yeah, but for the most part, just the whole thing is awesome to me. I love it.
Yeah,
Bangkok.
Bangkok is one of the nicer tracks for sure. They did a really nice job on
Well,
it.
it's not too. For me, I like the fact that it's not super technical.
No,
because you
well,
get
they
some
give you a
tracks
couple of
that-
different ways to go, up,
Mhm.
down. Yeah, they give you a couple of tricks, but
It's
yeah,
nice to go onto a track and just have fun. You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
the action rise. You know what I mean? So I do like the track layout.
Well, and that tour, I think I got finished number 12th in all cup ranking, and I still love that track. I didn't get burnt out on it, which says a lot. So now, Frenzygrind, you can't avoid the question: is New York Minute your favorite track?
New York Minute is my favorite track, and if you want me to get specific on a variant, I'm going to go T. Driving past Rockefeller Center through the Empire State Building, the placement of the taxis, St. Patrick's Cathedral looks amazing. Finished the race driving past Madison Square Garden. I'm a huge Ranger fan, so that's amazing to me. And then you're going straight into Times Square where the ball drops towards the end of the race. I mean, they did a great job on the track. They captured the realism of the city. Being from New York, obviously I'm a bit biased, but I think they did a tremendous job being from New York, going to the city many times. I think they did a tremendous job on the track, capturing all the specific points in the city that are like the highlight reels. So for me, it's a no-brainer for me. But again, I'm biased. So
In my opinion, New York has the best music.
and
Yeah,
it's a little New York. It's got a little New York jazz,
Mhm.
so with the music. So that's cool too.
I still like
LA
their LA
Labs music a little
LA,
better personally.
LA is popping. The LA music is popping though.
LA music is definitely a little better.
I haven't
Yes.
played with the music on in probably a year, so I haven't heard none of them.
Oh, it's slapping, dude. It's slapping.
I'll turn it on.
I prefer Vancouver
So
music.
Frenzygrind comparatively, so like New York Minute 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4. What's your opinion on the true to form versus which one seems like a little bit more outlandish versus which one just seems kind of boring? What's your opinion on the 4 variations from your opinion?
I'm not going to stray. For me, New York 1 is by far the best, and the whole point that they made us wait for it since launch to come back just kind of whet my appetite a little more. Because every time I go to the city, it's like New York Minute. I can't wait for this track to come back because I go to the city a lot. So I don't know. It's just for me, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 are okay. You got the same type of dynamics in those tracks too. I could see Madison Square Garden. I could see these other things, but for me, it's 1 just because it hasn't been back for a while. So again, biased, but I like what I like. So I don't see much of a difference in 2, 3, or 4 compared to 1, but it's just 1 hasn't been back for a while, and 1's got a lot of the same type of the church, the garden. I mean, everything that I visit. So
Love
for
it,
me,
man.
it's 1. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's get to you, Draco, because we're going in this reverse order of how the multiplayer turned out. What's your favorite city track, including variation in Mario Kart Tour?
So I have my second best one. For me, like City Tour is all about a banger. So I like if it's a good banger and like a nice design of the track, I'm all for it. And my second one is Singapore. I really love that music. I really love the night track. And my first one is obviously Bangkok because Thai Daisy is on there. The track is the flute and the track layout. It's just gorgeous. And I'm never tired to play that track too. So I wish I could have the top 1000 at the time for the badges, which I did not get, but I would want to play that track so many times with Singapore. Those are my 2 favorites.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't go Vancouver with you being Canadian, right?
No, I mean, I never explored Vancouver. I mean, I do like Vancouver music, but I mean, this tour, Vancouver Trade Field, it was a little bit like boring and just not interesting compared. Probably, I think 2 was the best. Yeah, 2 was the best, but 3 was
I like number 1, but yeah, this one I'm not a fan of. This one's
RT is pretty good though. RT or the one in the rank this week, it's pretty decent. It's better than the first week, but
I like that I'm using pinch on it. That's my favorite part. But yeah, I can't argue with that. What about you, Raz? What's your favorite city track, including variation?
That's a tough question. I think for music, I really liked Berlin Byways and LA Laps. But you know, I don't know. You guys were like clowning on Vancouver 3 right now, and I was gonna say I really like that one, but I got to use Luigi Night for that one, and boomboxing was great on that track. It's nice and long, you know, and
Well, you're one of the lucky ones to have him at a high level, I would presume.
yeah, he's barely at 6 single capped. It's tickets are
That's
so
6 higher than me, my friend. You'll live in life.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I'm glad that I'm representing your boy there. We'll get into this city tour. There's some good questions here, including one from Big Brolo that says, in the last 6 months, we've been hit with 3 all-city tours. The Metropolitan European Anniversary, which is, you know, kind of mixed. This autumn tour, North American. Is this just a buff catch-up on all these city tracks? Or is it time to take city tracks a little more seriously?
I'm not
I'm
quite
starting to
there
take
yet.
city tracks. Go ahead, Frenzygrind.
I'm not quite there yet. We got New York, Vancouver, and LA this tour. I haven't used a single level up ticket this tour going for ACR. I'm not sold yet. I get
Right.
they're coming more often, and
Yeah,
I get we're on the road to possibly giving us more cities, and maybe they want us to start investing into cities, so it kind of evens the playing field a little bit. But for me, I'm not sold, not yet, not quite yet. We got an all city tour right now, 3 of my favorite cities. I'm going for ACR. I haven't used a single ticket. I'm just gonna play it out, see where I land. I'm just not sold. So I'm looking at the items that benefit me with the retro tracks, that will benefit me outside of cities, that also give me a couple of these cities, and I'm gonna roll with it. But right now, I haven't invested a single ticket in this tour, so I'm just not there yet. But I can see it coming, but I could see it coming.
Could see it coming. No, I like the no ticket November. I think Carlos is doing something like that. I mean, how are you guys treating cities in general? I mean, is this a savings tour for you? Are you you know, are you trying to not invest in things that have city coverage, or are you kind of starting to be a little bit more open-minded to city tracks potentially one day, as the door seems to be a little cracked open, that we might see cities interspersed with other tracks?
I think that I think I would initially I would say no, but with the update and what they've done, especially with the Eagle carts, locking them down with nothing but city tracks. And I think they had a previous cart that was nothing but city tracks. So I think with the new update, I could see them bringing cities back on a regular basis. I wouldn't say every tour, but I would possibly think maybe every other tour to every 3 tours. You might
Every
possibly
2 or 3, yeah.
but I would say most day one players should at least have some sort of levels for these tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the spotlights that were introduced, we were playing the game when they dropped. So we would have already invested into it. So if anything, it's just like finding the little piece that probably would help you on a city, a cart, a glider, something that you probably never looked at before, and possibly maybe think about throwing a ticket onto it. But I'm like you, Frenzygrind, I'm just not sold yet. I see the door cracked open, but I just don't see me walking through it yet.
Right.
But I on that note, I'm prepared to go that route if we do go there, if that makes sense.
I just think there's too many cities right now and more to come to actually invest. I don't know. It just,
The biggest question.
you can only bring New York, LA, Vancouver back so many times in a certain period of time. So if you're investing into New York, LA, Vancouver, this tour, when are they coming back? Probably not for at least 3, 4, 5 months, possibly.
Well, yeah, that's the typical normal pattern.
You know,
Yeah, just, with the update, I'm just not sure. The Eagle carts is what throws me off, and especially the cart. I forgot what cart it was before it, but literally they gave it like nothing but cities. So, I mean, I think Nintendo understands the fact that, with ticket distribution, that is put out during cities, they probably see a lack. So it might actually flip. I'm just not sure. I'm just not completely sold yet. One of the biggest things that I think about is like, we got New York battle course now. Now, is that going to be a regular occurring battle theme? So are we going to continue to see New York like we do Twilight House and we do all these other tracks? So, I mean, at least in some sense, it should be there.
I mean, it's a great question. I think battle tracks kind of have their own, system.
On little
Yeah. So it's a great question. I don't know. My assumption is that it would, but because I know the assumption was that there's like these 14 battle tracks over the course of different Mario Kart tours, but this is like an original battle track unique to Mario Kart Tour. So will they treat that unique track like the other unique tracks, or they treat it like?
I mean, my thoughts is going to be you're going to see the New York battle track just as much as you're going to see Twilight House.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
They're unique battle tracks. I mean, there's only going to be so many they're going to come up with, like me suits, one a tour. So.
Yeah. For me, I'm not entirely like sold into like having like those type of city, but what opened my eyes is pretty much the like spotlight boost and like Tidy's is like never been the spotlight shop. I'm the same way with those Eagle, because those Eagle are like a little bit like larger than those off-roaders. And for me, like, okay, I need those cards, like, so I buy those two cards, and when they're gonna come back again, it's probably like never until spotlight probably boosts for city. So maybe some cart and gliders and whatever, they just gonna be there on specific tour like this one, and probably this one will be insanely like valuable in the futures. So I'm not looking into the coverage right now, because I already invest a 6 double cam into the Blazing Eagle, and I wanted to do the Swift Talon as well because I like those larger hitbox. But in the futures, those new tracks or new coverage I would get probably would be immensely like better than probably a lot of those cars. So I'm like, well, I mean, do I cash in right now into those instant car, or I wait until it come back? And when it's going to come back, that's the true question, because with the new system, with the spotlight we have.
It does look like, and so just to clarify for everyone at home, it does look like there are some items that are tied to cities that aren't in the spotlight shop. Things like tie-dye or Volendam, or some of these drivers were released with cities. So your thought process is these carts released in cities, they may not be in the spotlight shop again for at some point in time, as compared to these items that have popped back into the spotlight shop after 3 or 4 tours. So I can see that happening. And so it depends. Yeah. Are these kind of the new paywalled items in the game because they're exclusive to this city tour? And, my personal hypothesis is, that they will continue doing that. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're influxing a bunch of gold items. And we'll get to some more of those questions too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to be for city items. I think that every time we have this anniversary tour, like with the Mark IIs, or even what was it, Rosalina Chef, where she had only city tracks, and it just takes a hard time to get at that. Versus tie-dye, when she was released, she of course had a lot of Bangkok tracks, but there were other tracks in there. There were plenty. It wasn't all city. So these all city debuts make it really, really tough. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this next few tours go out. But anyone else investing in items or not afraid?
I'm not afraid. I feel like this year we've had 3 full city tours. That's quite a bit, I think. So maybe they do 4 next year. I don't know, but it's time. Otherwise, you're just going to be playing with really boring characters and carts that, I don't want to play with. And I love playing the game, so I want to play with what I want to play with and what I like.
That's the most important part too.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with my ACR this tour is that I got a lot of level 3 and level 4 carts, being cities, of course, like a lot of everybody does. I'm out leveling them up. I'm just going to run the track. I'm going to get my score. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm not going to use tickets until I feel they're worthy, unless they give me a lot of retro tracks. So I got a lot of level 3s and 4s I'm rolling with, get my score, and I'm moving on. Just not investing for cities yet. Yes.
Well, so my favorite part about these all city tours is that at least we're all kind of together, right? So like we're
Yeah.
all struggling on the coverage together. So like, you know, when we're going for top 100, we're all in the same boat. We're all struggling with a Wild Wing here and a Luma
Yeah.
parafoil over here. And yeah, it's like we're all in the same
A
boat.
black Kabuki Dasher, no thanks.
Yeah, so
I'll
like
pick it out
we're
of
all
level
the same
4.
struggles, all going to struggle land. I will say we pointed out in the ER server, DKR.exe, many of you guys know him from the spreadsheet. He up his step. I think we said he went for top 10 for the last 3 all city tours. And like, you know, that's kind of his thing. He just really likes and he's probably invested. He was zigging while everyone else is zagging. I love seeing that. So yeah, I mean, we've always talked about it. City tours are always the best, not the easiest tour, but the tour that might have the lowest bar for, you know, top 10, top 100, top 1000, because people are a little bit more reluctant. We'll see if that changes as going forward. I will say Antilev gave a very slight value increase to city tracks, very, very slight. But, you know, I think we might be turning a corner. How much are you personally valuing city tracks? Is it, I know a lot of people would say, this one's got, you know, even you see us on the rundown, you know, 22 non-city tracks, 5 cities. Like now, do you just like you're just doing the math in your head and you're like, okay, well, it's 27 total tracks, so that's what I'm caring more about. Like when do you start discounting those, you know, 5 cities, 6 cities, 7 cities, whatever it might be?
I think it's all about like let's say like Volendam sees almost like all the tracks, and to her to get almost all of Vancouver, it's just amazing buff for her, and it's insane value for people who have run these characters like I did since she's came out. But for newer like driver like Mario King, this is a different story. This one is like it's newer. You have a lot more city. It's great to have tracks, but I mean probably not the best option you want to have. But I mean at some point every driver will have the syndrome of having cities. It's nice to have them when it's there, and I think we just need to take the ride and I mean, maybe take more part up with the cities, but it's nice to have a bus sometime.
I think the king will dethrone DK Jr. Because you know he's already got like, I don't know, 15 cities, and then he still needs to see a lot of those retros still, a lot of them. So I don't know. I think he can pick up a lot of new courses. Or
So you have some faith. You have some faith in the king?
I do.
Okay.
I think it's early. I know it's really deep hole to
That's
dig out of,
really
though,
deep.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Nintendo
Climb out
really
of.
bent us over on that. They took our money and they said, "Here's your
Well,
cities."
The thing about that is that, you know, people may not see value into him, but when you do have him at value and he does come around, you see it. I mean, a lot of these drivers aren't going to start out with 15 tracks on their own, guys. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the amount of clash that is going on with boxes and everything. It's like, I appreciate the fact that King still holds maybe a track or two, because for me to gain 2 or 3 tracks, that's a lot. You know what I mean? At least this far in the game. So I still see value into him. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet because I just want to see the value grow a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's still got a little bit more, maybe even a lot more to go. The donut, like I think his exclusive tracks are like the donut plane.
Mm-hmm.
Tracks, I don't know. Those are not tracks I want.
Box on. So it's.
There's like me like tracks that I don't really want to, you know, grind them. I hope they don't come back. So like when they come back, I don't want to be like, yes. I want to be like, no, don't do it.
We got leveled up gold sweet ride.
That's how I feel about Mario Shipyard.
Mario Ship. Well, yeah. Well, you've been cursing all year long, man, because that was been one of the most common year, unfortunately. But I didn't mind it. I just, you know, I like that a lot. That one a lot more than the Vanilla Lake. I'll tell you that. We did point out that Gold Petey got 5 buffs. And so I was curious to what's your thoughts there. As we got him, we're like, I even mentioned saying like, I'm excited to put investments in him because I don't think we'll have a city tour very soon. And then the very next day, it was like, oh, city tour, next tour, great, that's fantastic. Insert foot in mouth here. But do you think like let's just take this hypothetical scenario? Remember how he was like middleweight last tour? Would you have rather kept him at this middleweight and him get only 2 city buffs, or get this heavyweight and get this 5 city buffs. Like how much are we gauge? When we see 5 city buffs, how much of a curse this is, or if it's actually not that bad?
I think that's not that bad, honestly. I mean, I think middleweight or heavyweight doesn't. I mean, it's of course it's affect a little bit the range of you get the coins, but you still need to manage to get a good coin box, and you need to get and zigzag to get the gold line, even if it's like lightweight or middle or whatever. But I mean, I think it's a buff. It's a buff. So I mean, it's getting something, which is nice. I mean, some try probably get 1 or nothing. And yeah, I mean, I think you benefit most of this tour, so it's nice to see. And at least you have probably more in the future to come as well.
That's the thing about that, is that, like to have him at that level, and if you do see a big city buff, that's okay, guys. I mean, we're talking about it now. I mean, it just seems like they're rotating cities a little bit more. So when they do bring these cities tracks back, you're set. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't see anything wrong with investing. You know what I mean? So it could be a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just
you're
thinking
gonna need this
longevity.
coverage. You're gonna need it.
Yeah.
It's just thinking longevity. I mean, because I'm not here to play one tour, I'm here to play all of them. So I mean, to get that kind of cleaned up and just say to yourself, okay, now I could just move on to possibly a retro track and get that closed. I don't see anything wrong with it.
I mean,
especially
also,
with them breaking cities.
the most important thing is, like, if people invest into Gold Petey because they decide they wanted to have a pillar, and we choose the pillar we want in the game. So if you like that much PD, you would be happy to get those 5 buff, regardless, like if they overlap with other drivers.
Yeah,
You
I
have.
mean, you could say to
So,
yourself,
yeah.
"Are done."
Exactly.
So it's a good thing.
Well, so like in my situation, I was kind of doing this the savings process for the last 3 months, basically from the Ocean Tour. And while saving, I didn't invest in Gold Chuck. I didn't invest in King Mario. I hadn't invested in Gold Petey. I said, you know what? I need to ride one of these horses. And so I put some tickets in Gold Petey last tour. It almost seemed like too easy of a decision because he was so in ranked all over the Boo Lake, and it just seemed like way too easy. And then, now I'm coming into this tour, and then he's, getting these 5 city buffs, one of which was in ranked. And so I was, I said, well, I'm already kind of pot committed at this time, so I'm going to go all in. He's going to be my pillar. But, there is a part of me that's in the back of my head saying, like, man, maybe I should have gone Gold Chuck, or maybe I should have, if I'm going to get 5 cities, I might as well, ride out the City King and go that direction too. So I don't know. That's just something in my back of my mind is like, hey, or what if they come out with this this brand new Luigi? Maybe he's a coin box, and maybe I would have rather had him. Who knows, man?
It'll be
Oh,
a
no.
leaf. It's a leaf, I think.
I'm hoping you're right, man. I could use a break, at least for drivers. It looks like we won't have a break next tour with karts. So let's talk about this animal tour. There's a lot to discuss. I think the elephant in the room, or may I say the monkey in the room, is the fact that we do not have DK in the animal tour. And I think this conversation has, I'm sure, been exhausted from tour to tour to tour. And I was even messaging back and forth with Kevin Garrett a little bit this afternoon, and he's trying to get his gauge on it. And he, to be honest with you, seemed kind of like exhausted with the topic, and a little depressed too. But I mean, ultimately, it is what it is. Like we don't have DK in Mario Kart Tour. We don't have any alts of DK, and any of the Kongs for that matter. We would have loved heck a Dixie Kong alt, let alone a brand new like Cranky Kong or anything else. But we have a DK Mountain and no DK.
Yay!
I know we're excited about the DK Mountain.
Yay!
We'll get to DK Mountain in a second. But guys, will we ever
No.
put our hands up? Will we ever get a DK alt?
Nope.
Raise your hand.
No.
We never know. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we
Why
never know.
would it?
I don't
Is
think
it a
I honestly think we're gonna get Gold Mario before we're getting a DK ult.
We never know. Like,
I think no.
I'm
Well,
now-
actually,
I'm
we'll probably
now
get a gold
convinced.
Luigi.
I'm now
before we get a
convinced.
gold Mario.
I'm now
We're
convinced.
probably gonna
where's
get
the princess hole
Mario
now?
before we get
So I think we're past the point of like if. It's now why, right? So
That's
we
the
all
question. Why?
why, right? So I know that there was some talk about a lawsuit or some kind of like, this
Like ice
company
thing,
owes.
it's some- Mhm.
Doesn't make
And
any
I think
sense.
that's been debunked as well. I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know if they have to like, pay royalties or like that they don't want Donkey Kong looking a certain way, or maybe dressing up Donkey Kong in a specific garb makes fun of that because like they don't want a monkey. I don't know. Can you guys help me? Is there any good
That's
explanation?
asinine. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's
No, I
almost
don't think
like,
there's any good like, explanation
no.
as to why they
There's
are
none.
staying away from Kongs.
No, it's like this tour. Like no, this tour is autumn tour. Last tour was like kind of autumn tour, and the tour we're gonna have animal tour is kind of like more autumn tour. So like it's make no sense. I think like Nintendo make a lot of weird decisions of what they bring. And why Luigi again? Like we already have like Luigi 3 times since what, probably a month and a half. It's absurd. Always Luigi. I'm happy Luigi have some hold, but like yeah, that made no sense. We don't have a DK into this specific tour. But it's also like for me, that's the same. Like, where's my next princess? I mean, I'm looking for Ocean after Ocean Tour. I want another princess. I mean, but right now it's probably not the princess time. It's Luigi time. So good for the fans. But I mean, I hope we're gonna have a DK. But at least we have amazing tracks and a new DK cards. But I mean, it's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what else to say about
Yeah,
it.
it's honestly, it's too depressing to talk about. I would just go on to the next one.
Well, it's been it's a hot.
We're 3 years in here. I mean, you brought out at least 2 or 3 DK tracks. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
they're telling us what's going to happen here. That you're not getting a DK hold. So
Part of me
what are they
wonders
gonna do? They're going to bring him in a Sky Garden track.
I
and
thought-
ship him now?
what-
What are they gonna do? Doesn't make any sense.
If you look at the New York tracks, Donkey Kong is
Everywhere. I said it
everywhere.
last year, New York 4.
No,
Oh,
I-
DK is everywhere.
Yeah.
We're getting a DK. Nothing.
We need to get a hold of Nintendo and
It
find
makes
out.
no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the why. And my reaction kind of to what you're talking about, Draco, is just that I think that there have been some curveballs behind the scenes. There's no way that they're just accidentally like running into the situation where they have an autumn tour, all cities, and then the following tour they have, a leaf alt, that would have made more sense to have in an autumn tour and not have the. I just don't. It does not all of it makes sense. I'm like the only way all that change would even potentially make sense is if they were thrown curveballs. Something happened here. They had a lawsuit. I don't know. Or maybe their intern form went
Gotta
on
be something.
or something. And like they had no idea what to do. So that part I don't know. But I think we're pretty good as a community rolling with the punches. But I think we're getting too many punches in the face with the not having the DK alts. But it is what it is, guys. We do not have a DK in the game. And probably not in the foreseeable future. I think they keep giving us things like the Rambi Runner Gold or whatever to like, hey, you guys, you should be happy with this. But yeah, it's a tough time to be a Kong fan with Mario Kart Tour. It is what it is. Matt asks, now that we know we're getting DK Mountain and still no Kong alt, could this seriously mean that we never get another Kong? 2022 ended with the year of Luigi. If Nintendo continues to hone in on specific characters, which one would you like to see glow in 2023? So, kind of talked about this year being, bombarded with Luigi. What kind of character would you like to see bombarded for next year if you had to be force-fed a driver?
We want more
Definitely.
Bowser.
Actually, would go Rosalina.
Rosalina? Yeah, there
I
are a lot.
want more. I would love to see more Bowser. I don't know. That's just me specifically.
Okay.
I'd love to see more Bowser Jr., who's also not getting any love.
Yeah, man.
That's me personally.
Yeah, no, I love to see some
I'm not a Bowser Jr. fan, but I think he's also being swept under the rug too.
Yeah, he is.
I think
I wouldn't mind seeing a new Camo.
That's also in the Kong
Camo,
fan.
go.
so.
Yeah, I think if you're not Mario, Luigi, Princess.
I mean, enough with Mario and Luigi. I'm done.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
There's too many of those guys already.
I mean, well, come on.
We need more Peach. I mean, I think this year is like 1 or 2 Peach. I need more Peach. I mean, where's the Peach? Mario Peach.
Yeah,
Luigi.
we were fortunate to have Peach a year or two ago. Yeah, Mario was constantly just like every other tour seemed to be a Mario alt.
The year
Yeah,
of Luigi.
I don't know. Any others? I'll have to put Waluigi on the list. I know we got the vampire and the bus driver, but like I don't know. We don't have a plus skill Waluigi that I can invest in, man. Come on, give
No,
it to
that's
me.
true.
That's the same way I feel about Wario too,
Yep.
especially
Yeah.
with all the coin boxers.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a matter of time. Well, we kind of already hinted a little bit on these Eagle carts, but Raker85 asks, a lot of people this tour said, get these Eagle carts because their hitbox and their width is so huge. Now next tour, we get another 3 carts with above average or even giant hitbox. Things like this new Camooki, I think it was Camo Tanooki cart, this new gold Rambi runner, and this new, so I don't know if you want to call it a green off-roader or some kind of like banana off-roader, off-roader that you see in the video.
I think it's going to be a moo.
I've heard people calling it the cow off-roader.
What are you calling it?
Like a moo off-roader. Like
I've
a
heard
cow,
cow
one of those
off-roader.
Cow type. I don't know. It looks like a
so you guys think that those carts are bigger than the Eagles?
Well, the
Off-roader
Eagle is
is,
wide, slightly wider than the
Eagles, it's the
off-roader,
same-
but the hitbox.
same size as the Cupid.
Well, I think
No.
off-roader and I think they're very similar. I think one's just, you know what I mean, long, you know, angle-wise just longer, but I mean,
All these carts I just mentioned are large or above, and that's
Right.
what we really care about. So yeah, I mean, they're basically taking what was a hot commodity and just shoving it in our face and saying, hey, you know, which like you like hitboxes, here you go. And like at this point in time, I think his question is, does that make the Eagle carts doomed, or are they probably going to be kind of like these Mark IIs where, you know, you can invest in them, they have a bigger hitbox, but the cities are going to hold them back comparatively to these 3 carts that all have similar hitboxes to the Eagle, but no cities, at least to
I think
start.
it's going to be like the Mark IIs. I mean, they're coming out, and then you're following a tour with the Rambi, a new off-roader, and a new Tanooki. They're doomed. I mean, they're starting out all cities to begin with. So,
but my question is why do you think that the Tanooki cart's bigger? It's smaller.
Tanooki cart is not.
Yeah.
Cart's above
It's not
average.
big, dude. I mean, it's like the Tanooki cart in a majority of those carts.
The new Tanooki is not starting out all cities, though. There's a difference.
No.
Well, yeah, but I mean, hitbox wise, I would say that they don't even come close.
I'll take a medium-sized cart over a giant or cart with all city start any day.
Puts those all
Good
city
point.
throwing everybody off. I get it. I do.
I mean, the Tanooki is not as big as the off-roader.
But it's a good size, though.
I
Tanuki's one of my
100% agree
favorite
with-
carts, so it's never done me wrong.
I will say this, and after driving in the Eagles, you know, I've raced with every cart in this game, and there's a few exceptional handling carts, and the Eagle's one of them. I love the way that thing drives.
I know, me too.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
loving
really
those.
From the mini
I love the way
turbo
the
to
bruises
just.
hit.
I'm not debating that. I think it's a great cart. But if you're gonna ask me if I'm gonna put my precious tickets into a starting track, what is it, 8 or 9 starting city tracks over the new Tanooki that's gonna start out
Yeah,
with
I-
retros?
Most people will wait to invest in the Eagles, I believe. You know what I mean?
But
But I
also
mean,
starting out with 3 Eagles, by the way. Which one are you putting your tickets
Yeah,
in?
which one? Yeah.
I mean, the
your
paywall
pick.
and the 2 of them, the 2 new ones,
My-
they're larger.
in past Nintendo kind of way they do things, that the pattern that I've noticed is that I would say mostly everything that you could buy in a pack seems to get more love than the spotlight or anything else. Why? Because the average player can buy it 3 times. So you already got a few
Average
tickets
whale.
invested into it. Yeah, I mean, not whales. You know what I mean? Not everybody could blow 100 rubies on this new cart, or you know what I mean? So $4 for level, you know what I mean? So you figure $12 for level 3.
I actually think that those commemorative packs, those commemorative items that are at $4, I feel like the whales are getting it 3 times. I don't think a gold pass only player or even somebody who's a dolphin would get that 3 times.
I did.
I
Yeah.
always do, because I think that
I think it's smart. I'm a whale, but I think that to like rubies are a fictional commodity, and so that and they don't want to spend their money. They might think of it different. I'm just trying to think of like putting myself in their shoes. Waloop, what do you think? I mean, you're probably more on the Dolphin side or Gold Pass only side. How do you feel about these commemorative items?
Kinda-
Would you put 3
Kind
times?
of Dolphin, like I've only actually got like 2 of the commemorative packs, and one of them was the 2022 glider. And honestly, the
Getting
way I
3
look at it
times?
is,
Well, that
no,
wasn't-
I would only buy it once.
I think just in general, because I think it's smart to, again, for $12 or whatever, you get it at level 3. I think it makes a lot of sense, but I think a lot of people, I think that the general public that are Gold Pass only would not, they probably wouldn't get it once. If they got it once, that would be it, and that's it. I think it's like Dolphin above would get it 3
Yeah.
times. I think it's actually a smart idea to get 3 times. But also, I've seen many people get the commemorative item. I remember, I think it was what I think Godmode, you even did it too with the red crawly cart. It was like one of those commemorative items you could
Yeah.
get 3 times, and I think we were like having to pick between that or another cart.
Yeah.
You think you went that direction and
Mhm.
it was already kind of like halfway of what you needed and kind of saved you a couple tickets.
Yeah.
And so like I think people have done that in the past, especially whales have done that with other items, and it's worked. It typically has worked out in the past. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this brand new Spotlight Shop style where we don't really know what's paywalled, get like what could be
The-
some paywall
well,
coverage.
My take on that is very simple, is I think that every single tour that starts, you're going to get placed with about 18 items, and they're going to rotate. And I think that everything in that tour will kind of come in to that Spotlight Shop. That's just kind of like my take on it. And they'll switch every tour, as far as that's concerned, Spotlight Shops, because I've had similar carts this tour than last tour, and then I've had carts that I didn't even see from last tour and this tour. So I think it's just going with the tours. The
Yeah,
Spotlight.
because there is like this like 4-tour gap or whatever between when something will come back. What I'm curious though is like, do you think the commemorative item Eagle will be the best Eagle of them all? And if so, why?
The reasoning I say yes is because you could purchase it 3 times. So in my opinion, like I said before, I think that what they like to do is that, for the average player that, doesn't have tickets, they can at least once. And even once is fine. And then I think that coming up in the following tours, that's the cart that they probably would give more tracks to than the other ones. Just why? Because everybody was able to obtain it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Instead of like, somebody that does not have 100 rubies or somebody that cannot afford to do something like that, I think it just gives the average player something to work with in the future, if that makes sense. That's just kind of my take on those cards.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have the data yet to tell. So that's why I'm curious to hear, your opinion on that. Anyone agree or disagree with Godmode on that? Do you think that
Godmode, I love you. You know that. I totally disagree.
state your case?
Why would you disagree?
And he knows more about the
Defended.
game than me, and he's better at the game than me, and I have no reason to even use those words. I'm just going based on history. The commemorative items have always been trash.
But that was before. That was
Yeah, that was
the
before.
Spotlight stuff.
The
Gold
2020
items were always
players-
trash too, so,
I don't
and now
have
they're looking
anything to
great.
go on other than past history.
So, but that's a different history. We're in like a new generation.
Well, what do we have to go on moving
So-
forward? other than
So this
history?
is how I see it. With the new commemoratives, you can buy 3 for $12. Now, if you're a whale, you're buying packs at $40, you get 150. So that means that it's about $26-27 for 100 rubies.
Mhm.
So I think it's cheaper if you buy the commemorative. And
But
so
that's a different
technically,
situation.
I would say
We're
that
not
it's
talking about cheaper. We're talking about better for your accounts.
yeah, but
That's
you can
different.
only buy one of that new Eagle that's in Spotlight. I'm not gonna spend, that much money to buy 3 dupes but it's so much cheaper to buy 3 dupes of the commemorative. So that's why I'm not
And you
not
that's
really
why
certain
most
which
cities
one
don't.
would be better.
So,
But I feel like the best bang for your buck if you're a whale is definitely going with the commemoratives.
Definitely. And I think now the paywall is definitely the commemorative, and I think the spotlight of what they're gonna bring as a new items to do the 100 rupees. I think those items would be the new type of paywalls, and if you miss on that, depending on the tour, like I said earlier, if it was just a city tour, I think those items would be more and more rare than anything else. So if you don't take those large hitbox right now, this is what I tell you to Godmode, like when I do my speech. If you don't take the advantage of that right now, you're gonna probably like regret it, maybe the laters, and you're gonna miss some great opportunity. But I mean, for me, I do it for the large hitbox because I'm using the medium size drivers. So that's a great car. I'm going to invest into them because I don't care about the starting values. I'm more into the futures of what they're going to bring to me. And
Absolutely.
those cars would beat every single car which I have into other tracks if they're smaller or medium. So
Take it
for me,
over.
it's a win. It's a win.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So you actually gain tracks by leveling it up, even though you had some of it covered. If it does get covered in the future, it's still a game.
Yeah.
That's not a bad move at all.
No, for sure. The thing is like, you know, as we're talking about it, like these carts will have this kind of trump hitbox over other carts, but they give us 6 over the course of 2 tours. What are you trumping? You know, you're all getting the same, large carts on these tracks that are, other than maybe the Tanooki that's slightly smaller than these. All these are like giant and above. I don't know, it makes it really tricky. For me, it still comes down to coverage. And so like a good example would be like the red off-roader. I'd love to invest in the red off-roader, but it does absolutely nothing for my account. I would much rather have something that gives me the tracks. And so kind of to your point, Draco, it's like, the city tracks, like, or I think it was maybe use you, Frenzygrind, like the city tracks aren't going to really help me out. So for me, it's like it really just truly comes down to that.
The problem with you is that you invested in the lightning streamliner, so that's taking a lot of your red off-roader tracks away, just like I did.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that's the same idea for me.
But I mean, also have Silver King and also have the yellow off-roader, and those 3 carts overlap with it a lot. So for me, the red off-road doesn't make a lot of sense, but the hitbox is great. If other people want it does a lot for them. Highly recommend investing in it. So that's kind of the thing. That's like, it gives you a kind of a trump card over other carts. But if they're all giant, because I'm sure that many of these carts, I'll bet you a lot of the Eagles will be on this DK Mountain, and you'll have like 6 giant carts to pick from. At that point in time, it's just whichever one you like the most.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Talking about things you like the most, Millie asks, we're getting 3 fan favorite cart reskins. Which one will you be going for? But between the Camo Tanooki, the Camooki, as he calls it, the Gold Rambi, and the Cow Moo Offroader.
Offroader any day. I just love, and we have a lot of new tracks. So I think this one would cover a lot. New Offroader for sure.
I mean, the off-road has got to be the answer. It's the answer every time it comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Gotta be.
huge box.
Great cards, but the off-road is easy.
And since we have 10 new tracks, how many new of this
We
Offroader
get a
can
couple of
get?
them too,
Yeah, that would be just massive.
All of my off-roaders are already done. So it's like, for me, I personally would like to. I never did anything with the Rambi rifle. I never did. It's still sitting at 1. So this would be a great opportunity to possibly, for me personally, to like start investing into the gold Rambi rifle. I think it's awesome. I love gold. I do. Love
I
gold.
still don't trust Gold Pass though. When you're giving it for free, I still don't trust it.
Yeah.
Don't trust
Well,
it.
it's not for free. I mean, you pay $4.99 a month, so.
They're not giving it to you for free for no reason. I mean, come on.
We talked about this a little bit on the different stuff on the channel, which is like, I do think Nintendo, by getting rid of the gotcha pipes and expanding in more countries, I think they want I don't think they want people to be free play. I think they want more Gold Pass only. So I think they might inflate some of the value of these Gold Pass items. What do you guys think? I mean, there's got to, even Millie asked this question, another huge gold cart that will presumably be a Gold Pass gift. Will it be unreasonable to assume that this will be a regular thing now every tour? What do you guys think about all the gold carts?
I think this could be start to continue a trend, because we've seen 2 giant hitboxes the last couple tours on Gold Pass.
I took the gold sweet. I took the gold sweet ride to 8. It's a done deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
I took mine to 6 thanks to Godmode's advice too. It's a
But
really good
it's-
card.
the cart it's big, and it gives me the donut tracks, and God, I needed it
Yeah.
there.
That track sucks, so yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
I
I'm
remember
being
in the-
conservative on my investments on the gold ones yet. I'm just trying to see which ones can be kind of the best one. So far, I think the gold sweet right is probably the best one.
They
Yeah.
closed all the donuts for me. The reasoning I took it to 8 was because of the level 8 buff. I had a level 2 cart there. And I think it's connected with the block. So it's like you take this massive meat with the base points being just insane, and you want to have a good cart for something like that. So I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
well, why not? You know what I mean? Plus it's big. I love the cart.
I'm kind of happy we have some new like item like this, because in the past we saw always like, oh, gold pass, bad reward, not
Mhm.
great items, and now we're just like keep going, like good items for Okora, good items, and it's nice to see. So it's a nice reward for us to be a gold pass player and just enjoy those items. I hope they're all gonna be great, because we always fear them. But like I respect Godmode to doing that sweet right at level 8. That's amazing. Like
No,
Really
the
smart.
I would
one-
never do
Really
that.
smart.
No, well, see, this is the thing, is that I play this game in such a strategic fashion that the biggest push off for me was the level 8 boost. And then when I also looked at it, it only had 10 tracks, and it had already been introduced a little bit ago. So I looked at the potential growth, and I said,
Yep.
you know what, let's jump off. And I have a good feeling about it. And you know what, if it does clash with another track that I already have a card on, so be it. I'm going with a big gold sweet rod. So
That's what we did for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did that
it's
for the
same
Eagles.
concept. Yeah, same exact
It's
concept.
funny. It's funny. Godmode will make a move and he'll tell me he made the move, and I'll look at my sheet and I'll be like, yeah, makes sense for me too. Done.
Every I play this game like a
Be your
master
consultant.
chess match. Every single move that I make, I think 30 steps ahead.
Yeah.
It's not. I look way down the road. You know what I mean? And so my investments are very well thought out. Sometimes it takes me a whole week to make an investment.
Hashtag Eagles, guys. We have to go.
So now they caught on to us. They know we're trying to close tracks at a decent level, and now they try. That's why they're bringing on more and more tracks.
The whole
Closing too many tracks. You got to bring more tracks in.
I'm just like StudFit's mindset, is that my whole objective is closing gaps.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. Close.
I love that
I-
part of the game, the chess match. I
New
love-
tours are going to come, new gaps are going to come, but let's just try to plug as many holes in this boat as possible. You know, because I don't want to sink.
Yeah.
So it's just try to patch what you can. Guys, you're always going to take on water. It's just the evolution of the game. Nobody can, you know, especially what they did now with this taking away pipes. No well. There's no such thing as a well right now doing what they did before, because there's no way they could do it.
Right.
I mean, you can go into a pipe and blow that thing 2,000 rubies and get what you needed to 6, 7. Now that's gone. Three a shot, and then you got to wait unless you have tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those aren't going to last forever, even for wells.
Yeah, it's
I mean, a lot of my buddies are out.
Yeah, Kareem's been keeping track of some tickets and for us, and he's it's interesting. It's like literally like 0.6 or 0.7 percent, like less than one ticket a day. That's what a lot of us are getting. Raker asked a good question, because I think what you're saying, Godmode, made a lot of sense, 6 months ago. But because we have so many new tracks, it's really hard. You make a good point. Like, just accept that you're going to have some gaps.
You are.
You're just going to have to try to fill them.
It's inevitable.
You know,
Too many tracks coming in every tour.
I mean, honestly, when I was saving, I was embracing the fact I'm going to have gaps. I'm like, all right, got a gap here, got a gap here. I'll wait
if
till
you
next
can
tour.
accept it, it's
Yeah.
fine. You know what I mean? It's a lot of it has to do who you surround yourself with too. I mean, you know what I mean? If you're surrounded by a bunch of wells, you know what I mean? It's a different story, but it's all you surround yourself with too.
Yeah.
Guys, I came to this very simple conclusion. For the past 3 years, I've been playing this game, and my whole intention is getting high levels and trying to produce all this stuff. But with the new update and the way that they are throwing in all of these tons of new tracks, I've decided that level 6 is okay right now.
Yeah, it is.
I'm okay with a level 5.
Yeah.
Just as long as it's nothing beyond 2 or 3. You know what I mean? I could live with a level 6, and I'll even double cap it. You know what I mean? And it's just the way it is with the game now. And I've accepted it, and I'm fine with it. My whole strategy of that is simple. It's just try to get something to 6 And then my whole thing is trying to get it out of the spotlight shop one or twice, you know, maybe once a tour. Then, you know, longevity wise, you'll have it up to 7. But for this point on, I'm living with level 6s and still trying to maintain, you know what I mean, some sort of decent score. So, I mean, not everything has to be level 8 quadruple cap.
Yeah, no, for sure. Talking about level 6, Raker asks, you know, a couple months back, I set the goal to have items at least level 6 double uncapped on every retro non-city tracks. With the introduction of the Spotlight Shop, Nintendo is giving us every tour not 1 but 2 new tracks, a new battle track, and then on top of that, 1 or 2 new RT tracks. Like it looks like we'll have Sky Garden and Baby Park RT in the upcoming tour. Is my goal of having at least a decent, which is this level 6 double cap coverage, still valid? He's right now questioning, you know, as you level up so many different things, it's hard to really find the tickets, and you may need to level up stuff that you don't like as much that only give you a couple additional tracks. So like for him, it was this Donut Plains 3 has very mean kart top shelves. For instance, total number of retro tracks rapidly increasing. It means you'll also have to take much longer before we'll see these tracks ever again. Even a 2022 track like Yoshi Valley hasn't been back in quite some time. So perhaps having decent coverage on every track isn't necessary anymore. So is his goal of having this level 6 double uncapped, is it still valid? Is this still attainable, or should he try to pursue another strategy? What do you guys think?
I think definitely. I mean, that's what I'm using as my strategy. Since I'm a little dolphin, I'm not like a whale, for instance. I mean, I play with only like Daisy, Peach, and Rosalina, and a couple of me. So my strategy is try to fill all the, like Godmode said with the boats. I mean, I try to cover all my drivers to 6 doubles and moving on to the drivers. And if I really love some items, like really like Tulip Corsage, which I hope is going to be top 10 soon, I just gonna make to level 7 because I really love too much the items. But 6 double cap, I think is really where you're gonna have a nice, decent, higher than 30k score, and that's pretty fine. Like scoring higher than 100k per week is ideals, and I think it's very good. So I think for a lot of players who don't have a lot of tickets, I think this is the best strategies, and it's less cost in terms of tickets, because I don't have still a lot of tickets in my daily select. I'm still working on it, but that would definitely be the best strategy to any type of player, which is not a whale.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like last week's rank, I had mostly like 6 double for everything, maybe some 7s. And I was up against some pretty big whales who had the gold me all the way to, you know, 8 and double capped or triple capped, and I still was able to compete. I got 2nd place because I had a fairly even you know, track, you know, for, or at least loadouts for all the tracks. So I was still able to, you know, get my 2nd place, and you know, 5 rubies, 500 coins isn't much of a difference.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think guys just, you know, just lower the expectations just a little bit. I mean, I'm rocking level 6 carts now.
Yeah.
I mean, I even have a level 5 card on the track, but you know, I'm okay with it. You know, I mean, I'm still producing scores. So at the end of the day, it's just something that will be fixed down the road. But for now, I'm okay with it. I mean, there's just too much new stuff being thrown at us right now. To say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just level this thing up to 8. I'm going to level that up to 8. I mean, it's just too much.
Too much.
So that's why, you know, in the sense of even if you can get something to 5, you know what I mean? It's okay. I mean, you at least got a good starting point. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's the other part about it is, I kind of mentioned this earlier, is like we're all in the same boat. You know, we're all experiencing all these top scale drivers, all these wide hitbox carts, all these brand new tracks. We're all experiencing at the same time. So we're all kind of, you know, on the struggle bus together, headed in the same struggle park.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. You know, I think from, I think that's one of the reasons why in the rundown we focus so much on pairings, because I think you'll start to see there's a lot of, you know, Yoshi Kangaroo, there's a lot of Saddle of You, there's a lot of these drivers that would pair really well. And I think that's really important, is like, hey, you know, if this is your pillar, get some pillars that'll get you some really good coverage. Take a look at those sheets. But I mean, ultimately, you're not gonna be perfect. So really, what you're aiming for is best bang for your buck, and these pairings will help you there.
Exactly.
Big Bob Lob mentions, you know, if we assume this pace of these new tracks is normal, with nearly every tour debuting with 8 completely new tracks in the rotation, how are you adjusting, if at all, which you choose to level up, and how far you level it up to these debut items? It's $1 million question, right? What are you guys doing?
Well, if I have the resources, yeah, maybe either I'll look at level 4 through 6 if I can, and if it whatever is going to give me the most coverage for that new those new tracks. That's how I look at it.
I'm purely look at skill. If it's a skill that I appreciate, like the sevens, you know, stuff like that, then it's something that I might look a little bit into. So for me, it's purely based off skill. New driver.
Karts or gliders?
I mean, karts. I mean, glider. As far as gliders are concerned, I don't really invest too much into them anymore. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good on gliders, but karts are just a little bit different for me. I don't know. I think everybody's investment seems to go in a different direction. You know what I mean? So it's like some guy can have this cart leveled up and then not this cart. But for the most part, if it's going to give me value for the tour, I could live with the level 4. I mean, just to get something on it. And if it doesn't, then I'm fine with the level 1. I mean, so I'm okay with it.
For me, it's all about I need to pray every time they bring new track because I don't know if I'm gonna have top shelf on them. That's a little bit sad to say, but that's kind of my reality. So if I have like at least a me suit which sometimes can cover it, I'm like, oh wow, maybe that's more interesting for me to invest into those me suit now more than ever. But if I have any of my girls in top shelf, I'm just happy to have it. And for kart, it's all about size, because for my medium drivers, size matter more to collect a little bit more extra coins. We never know like what can happen if a coin box appear in the tracks and you just collect more coin that way. And for gliders, I think for me, it's most the unique coverage for a lot of tracks globally I can get, because those keep your combo the best. And for non-top skills, most of the time, it's really important to keep your combo alive to get a little bit more extra points. So that's my typically strategy.
I also think, and I haven't really heard this, but at least tonight, but I like investing in the tracks I like, man. So like, I didn't like the Ghost Valley new tracks. I didn't like the new Donut Plains remix and Donut Plains 3. So I didn't like when push came to shove, I invested in the tracks I wanted to be doing. So like the, you know, Boo Lake, or, you know, I'd rather, you know, be playing, I don't know, Yoshi Valley or Sky Garden, or like, I'd rather invest in tracks I'm excited to grind.
Do what brings you fun. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, good. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, those Ghost Valleys, man, I'm still upset about those. Those were completely unnecessary. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't imagine myself like.
I agree
about that
I have
loadout.
a feeling there's more to come.
Oh my gosh.
no please no
No.
Scary. Yeah, that's really scary there. So I know we kind of talked a little bit about the animal tour. I think we kind of covered that. I think we were starting to dabble in some spotlight shop, and I think that's still kind of right now what we're starting to figure out, right? So we're now like what, 3 or 4 tours into this life after the pipe. Lulu, you asked a good question about the spotlight shop. You want to go ahead and ask that for us? You might be on mute. I think I can too.
So my question about this, my question about the spotlight shop is, what are we going to do going forward, knowing that there's a limit now, knowing that you can only buy certain items 3 times per tour, like the Black Star Glider? Like, I thought about it, but it's like, is that something the whales are going to start considering and taking advantage of?
So I had to buy a dupe of the 8-bit last week, but you know, it's just like excessive to buy them through there more than once. I just try to use my rubies for Coin Rush and buy tickets through my daily selects or tier, but I consider it, but it's very
My
have
whole
to know about it.
strategy on the spotlight shop for me, it's been a few tours and I've worked it out. Basically, what my strategy of that is like I needed a couple carts for Baby Park. I needed a for I had the new Bowser, then this Boo. So what I did was I ended up purchasing the green yellow pill cart and then the pink coral jet from the spotlight shop. I purchased it 3 times, and then this tour I purchased it 3 more times. And then so my just me personally, my strategy way is just trying to slowly build things through the spotlight shop. Meaning it's okay to have it at 4 for that tour. No, 6 tours down the road, I'll have it at 6. It's just, and you don't have to buy 3 at a time. You can just buy 1 and just keep going and going. I bought the coral jet 3 times, and then 2 days later it was back in my spotlight shop. So I was able to purchase it 3 fresh new dimes. I didn't, because I mean, I will not purchase rubies through the regular purchase like of rubies. I just don't. I think they're just taking advantage of you there. So what I do is I buy a few packs, and then whatever rubies I can get from those packs, I will buy a cart. Like I bought the green yellow pill cart. I purchased it 3 times this tour. Now it's at 6 and 3. So possibly in the next 3 tours, I'll buy 2 more of it, and it's already at 7, and I can move on to something else. That's pretty much the strategy I'm working with the spotlight shops. You know what I mean? I will not purchase drivers. I completely think it's a ripoff. 450 rubies is a lot of rubies when you could purchase 4 either carts or gliders. So for me, I see the value being in carts and gliders in the spotlight shop, and I tend to avoid any sort of drivers. I did purchase Mario Stellaview, but it was to take him to 8. But it wasn't until afterwards I realized, like, wow, I felt a little ripped off. So from that point on, I kind of decided, you know what, if I'm going to purchase anything, it's just going to be carts and gliders. That's it.
Yeah.
1 piece at a time. Next tour, another piece. You don't have to buy all 3, but just find something and stick with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't jump from this to this to this. If you want to invest into this cart, buy it 1 time. If you can afford it 1 time, get it 1 time. Wait the next tour, and if you can build up some rubies, buy it another time. It might take a little bit of time, guys, but longevity-wise, if you're patient, it will pay off. So that's my kind of strategy.
I did that with the Miis, specifically the DK and the Boo.
It's smart. It's very smart. Now, guys, this is the truth. The Mii game is crazy right now. I'm watching people invest into Miis and Miis and Miis. The base points is ridiculous. Now, if I were to give anybody a strategy as far as the Miis are concerned, now I understand that we cannot blow 5,000 rubies each, you know what I mean? We can only buy them 3 times. My strategy is very simple, is I'm going to pick 2 Miis. I think I'm going to pick like the Boo, the Lucky 7, and maybe the Bronze. I'll pick one, whatever gives me the most coverage. Now, what I'll do is that hopefully, because I know the Boo one comes in the spotlight shop a lot each tour. So I figure, okay, let's purchase 3 this tour and say, okay, I got it at 3 now. And then possibly if you did it that strategy wise, it would take 2 months, guys. 2 months, and you'd have that meat at 7 if you did it that way. But you have to be patient enough to do it, and you have to say to yourself, everything else in the meat, spotlight shops, I will hold off. You know what I mean? And that's the way that I'm going to work the meat shop. I'm going to purchase 3 a tour of 1, and I'm only going to pick 1. I'm not doing 2 at a time. And then eventually, within a couple months, it will be at 5, and then 6, and then you can work with it then.
And
I mean,
hopefully that strategy is a plus level skill, right?
Well, you'd have to look at your coverage, and you'd have to find out what Mii will give you the most bang for your buck.
Well, what about this giant banana Misu? Were you getting 3 of it this tour?
Which is a plus level skill.
I did get 3 times.
You got it 3 times, Draco?
I mean, that was my only option and I wanted to like secure my rank because I'm into the road to tier 80, which I'm currently like at 76. So normally I never buy Miis like at all, but I really needed to just make up some level 4 just for secure at least more points. So I did the purchase to getting this one to level 4 and buy it 3 times. That was the first time I ever done that. But my whole strategy for Spotlight Shop is like what the Godmode said, like drivers is too expensive. I would only buy a driver if it's a princess, which I really need because that's my concept. Otherwise, I'm skipping all those drivers. Since I saw like 2-time golden Chuck and God Yoshi, and I laugh at them and I just skip it. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. But for karting gliders, my strategy is like, okay, those gliders give me a lot of tracks. Like Armored Riders, for me, 19 track was secret 6 and double. So that was a no-brainer. I took it level 1, don't need to get it 3 times. Leveling with tickets, done, moving on. And I did for a couple of items, but I don't buy a lot of them. But now I'm like more into the me shop now, which I'm trying to maybe cover some gaps. So if I have extra rubies, because I don't have a lot of rubies, if I can afford a me shop for the base point, I would totally do it, and that would help me out. So that's kind of a strategy, but yeah.
I didn't buy that suit 3 times this tour, but it's kind of like what Godmode said. I can buy them later on when they show up, like one at a time. I just ran out of rubies this tour because I had a lot. I kind of went a little crazy on those MKs. I just wanted to collect them.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, but you know, that's kind of my strategy. If I want to look at a specific driver, I'll buy maybe one suit this tour, maybe another one, another copy next tour, and then eventually, you know, it's going to get to a high level. Just got to use your rubies, you know, accordingly, I think.
Yeah, Big Brolo asked a similar question around me suits because it sounds like that's kind of where the conversation is gravitating towards. And honestly, the me's, I know Frenzygrind and I had a good conversation about those over the last couple months, but Big Brolo asked, you know, with the me base points possibly hitting 2,000 by New Year's tour, would you consider investing in a dud skill me? Why or why not? And maybe even bring up like I saw the mushroom me suit, the white me suit at 70 rubies, and it looks so tempting. I had it at I think like what was it, you know, 3.5 or whatever. And I was like, you know what, that looks really tempting. I wonder if I should get it and take it to 4. What do you guys think? Non-plus skill me suits? Yes, no. When do they become relevant?
Never.
Never.
It's plus skill all the way for me. That's it. And then I'm going back to the regular coinbox drivers. I'm not going to use tickets on a triple mushroom me suit. There's no way I'm doing that.
You may not have to put tickets on it though. You could do, you know, Godmode strategy and get it there in your shop with some rubies.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Well, here's the difference with that. I got a whole new way of playing the game. I don't buy ruby packs anymore. I buy the premium challenges and that's it. So my rubies are limited. So I don't have that option.
Sure.
So for me, it's top skill me suits and that's it. Or spotlight shop. That's it. I don't play the game the way I used to. I don't do that anymore. I'm not getting sucked into the Mario King, sucking my wallet out. I don't do that anymore. I'm done.
Oh, yeah, I agree too.
I haven't bought a ruby pack since this whole thing took over. I buy the premium challenges and I'm out. That's it.
Smart.
So I'm in a different boat. I'm no longer a whale. I retired.
There you go. I'm sure your accountant appreciates that too. So.
And if I told my wife the end results, she'd appreciate that too. Hopefully she don't watch this.
Yeah, I'm only gonna buy the me's that are fun to drive with, you know, and so maybe I would consider a triple banana just because that's like almost like semi plus, but I don't know, like I gotta have fun in the game, otherwise I don't want to be driving with a bubble driver.
I mean, I will.
I don't care of the base points.
Please, somebody send me a screenshot if they've leveled up that bubble.
So
I've seen one at 8 something. I need to.
Somebody send me that screenshot.
So,
I'll put it on my Twitter.
I've taken that bubble me shoot to 6.
well,
That's cool.
Because I kind of did it just for the jokes because I was waiting for a bubble high end. I've been waiting for the day for that to happen, and
we used to laugh at it back in the days. Would they really do it? And they did it. That's cool.
yeah.
The question is, are they going to do it again, or is this just going to be a one-off thing? Like, I don't know. That's why I leveled it up.
I think that they're going to introduce another one. Yeah, just like they're going to introduce another golden me box. it's gonna be another coin box coming with me. So guys, be ready for that too. You know what I mean? I know everybody's looking at these plus deals. I get it. You know what
I
mean?
think
But
the New
look
Year's
out.
tour, we're getting our me coin box suit.
I do. I believe it.
Just
It's
like I
coming.
heard you say on.
Hammock suit.
Yeah, I
Hammett
mean, I
suit,
said
maybe?
the other day.
Oh, that
It's
would
like-
be nice.
It's coming. Yep.
So, guys, start saving your caps, man. Start saving some tickets. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to invest into something that's going to blow nuclear stuff out of the water, wait for Christmas. Wait for New Year's.
Coming.
I think it's
They
going
know
to
where
come
there.
there.
they know where their bread is buttered. It's in those me suits.
Oh, Daisy
know.
holiday cheer, I'm waiting for
It's
that.
coming.
Christmas would
By
be
New
like
Year's,
a
Godmode's not
tree.
wrong. By New Year's, it's coming. I'm telling you.
It's coming, man. I mean, it really is. I mean, and I'm
Oh,
I'm
look at this gold
getting
me. Oh
prepared
my
for it. It gives me a
gosh.
couple months, be prepared. And, you know, the only hard thing I'm going to have is just the cap tickets. It's a lot of cap tickets. You know what I mean? To level up Mies to level, you know, quad 'em. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to save my caps now. And, you know, when it does come, I at least want to jump right in the water. You know what I mean? I just want to go swimming right away. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
start getting prepared for it.
Let's talk about that because we now are in the spot where we have the quadruple caps, and I know that you know, we've discussed this a little bit on our last episode, but no one here was on last episode, so I'd love to get your opinions. What are your thoughts on the quad cap? Are there anything specifically on the high end side that you've quad capped, or you just feel like that's probably not even really, you know, realistic or practical for your account?
So I did my first quad, and that would be the only one I would do because that's a little bit too expensive. I think I would prefer have two double cap than a quad now, except if I'm like close to the end. But I did Volendam, and I mean that's my only boomerang. That was my second high end level 8, and she had a ton of track, and I just love her design. And I was like, well, that's gonna be the one, and I wanted to see like how much far it would go, but like honestly, like triple plus quad is like 22 tickets, and it's a lot, and it's a lot of coins, it's a lot of time of saving. So I'd much rather have two good items ready to go than just one big one. So that's where I'm at.
You just spread the love. Makes sense.
I need a lot of love.
Yeah,
for this
I'm
person.
similar. I haven't quad capped anything except my supers, basically. So
Oh yeah, the supers, I did those.
I did the
only
block
high-end-
told me right off the bat. Took me all my tickets were gone, but I did the block gold me, and you know the base
Both
point.
of them?
Yeah, I did both of them. But it brought me to zero. I have about 12 tickets now saved, so it's taken a while to bounce back. But for me, I just thought, no, I'm going to get my biggest bang for the buck. And then I went onto the first track and scored 71K. I think it was
nice.
So- awesome.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Well, look, we gonna say something?
Yeah, the only high end I've so far quad capped was the record setter because just the frequency it's been coming back. Like, no, and it's coming back this next tour. Like, the values there is the glider that's been appearing the most. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to do that with the drivers.
Glider.
Like the drivers, I feel like it's harder to do with knowing that like just the driver level up points don't occur as often for me either.
Yeah, I mean, like whenever I'm filling out the all cup ranking spreadsheet, I'm never really worried about glider as much as I am kart. You know, and for drivers, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just, you know, the plus skills are always going to be the best ones. But yeah, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've gotten a little excessive with the quad caps myself, but I know that's just my own personal preference. I think I kind of put this in some discords, and you know, this is my opportunity kind of to discuss this with the general community. But after the ocean tour, I had gone I think 4 out of the past 5 tours, starting in Bangkok, where I had gotten in the top 20, and you know, spent something in the 40 to 50 hours, including the very last tour, that ocean tour, where I finished 11th with about 50 hours put in. And the reason I mentioned the number of hours is most of those guys are putting in, you know, 80, 90, 100 and plus hours. So for me, like, I was a really good accomplishment, but it's like, you know, it still was falling short. So for me, it's like I wanted to save tickets for one day, maybe a Waluigi tour. I can kind of throw all my tickets in one, and then 3 months later, the shielded speedster came up, and so I threw tickets in that. And next thing I know, I was out of tickets. I went from like 40 of everything and to like nothing. So a couple of those items, I just like, you know what, I'm putting, you know, quad ticket in this, quad ticket in that, and I would rather have, for me, like knowing that the tropical truck is going to be the truck that I'm using on, you know, any track where it's on it, I'm going to be using that track, and so using that car. So for me, like it was and that pulling that trigger on the shield speedster for me was also putting the trigger on fun. Like for me, shaving was not fun. I learned a lot from the process. Yeah, man, it was one of those things where I realized like this is like cool, but this is like zero fun. Like this is
Yeah, you gotta have fun.
and thankfully I was like really busy with work at the time, so like it was that helped me save, because like the less I played the game, the easier it was to save. But yeah, I pulled the trigger, and you know what, this last week, you know, I was one of the highest of my friends and got the pit crew chief on Sammy D's channel, and honestly, it was just such a joy. It was so funny. It reminded me of the good old days of playing. So I think for me, like one of the things I learned during that period of time, and I know it's kind of a random tangent, was like for me, I tried something.
Are you going to bed?
I was a little stagnant, and so I tried something new. And I highly recommend trying something new if you are stagnant. But at the end of the day, I think you will gravitate towards find joy doing. So that's my personal recommendation for players is like, if you get stagnant, if you feel like you're you know, I don't know, kind of running in a rut, try something new, try a new strategy, but don't be afraid to just, you know, try it for a little bit and then come back to what you know and you love. And I don't think anyone can fight that for you. So that was my long way of saying that, for, you know, don't be afraid to quad cap something that you love, like Walla Oops, record setter, or, you know, for me, it was the tropical truck. But I just would say, if you take one, once you start getting the 2 or 3, then you're like losing some of the cap, you know, because you're kind of getting this overlap. And so I think 1 is good for everybody. But you know, I think more than that is you're probably losing tracks along the way. One thing I wanted to touch on before we before we left the topic of Mii suits is there has been this discussion of maybe a Mii base points cap. I'm not sure if you've heard this. Sammy D mentioned it today, even a little bit on his video, where base points for Mii suits. There's been talk. It might be a legend, might be in the data mining somewhere. I think it was data mined at some point in time that the Mii Cup had like 30 or so Mii assets associated to it, but like for like the cup boosts. But I don't think I had seen anything in the data mining about a cap for those base points. So there is this fictional thing, and so I think a lot of people are making decisions. And I kind of want to ask you: is it smart or is it not smart, or you know, is kind of, you know, banking on the fact, or maybe kind of hedging the fact that this might happen? Do you think Mii suits will ever have a cap on their base points, or do you think just however many base points or however many Mii suits they release, that's how many base points are added?
That's a tough question. I don't see it ending anytime soon. I mean, they're coming out with a Rocky Wrench. I mean, there are so many other options they can go that they haven't even touched on yet. Like a Waluigi, a Daisy.
We have colors.
There's so many Mii suits they haven't even touched on yet. But yet they're going outside the box and they're going with a Rocky Wrench. Like, who would have thought they would go with a Rocky Wrench, which is only on one track for Airship Fortress? So me personally, if they're going to go on one track with a Rocky Wrench, when there's so many other options out there that they can go, for me, I don't see it ending soon. I just don't. There's so many other options out there that are easier. So for me, I just don't see it ending. I don't know where the end line is. And if you haven't invested in every Mii suit up to this point, I feel sorry for you. And I was that guy probably 3 months ago on Kart Talk crying to StudFit about why I'm not a Mii suit guy. I sucked it up and I'm saying I gotta get in the game. I gotta get in the game. And now you see people like Edidal and other guys now on Discord, like, I gotta get involved. I gotta get involved. You got it.
I finally started slowly accepting it.
I don't see an end.
And Wulu, but what was your process? How did you kind of come to that realization?
I pushed off for I want to say like 6 months when the Mii suits finally released. I was like, I'll just hold off for as long as I can. But then once I saw the base cap nearing 2,000, I'm like, it's time.
I played that
Like-
same game. It didn't work.
Like this tour, like I finally took the silver Mii suit, which I never wanted to invest in. Finally took it to level 4.
That's awesome.
Like
So,
I was not, I really,
that is
I'm
awesome.
still, I'm
Right
not
on.
fully
great
on
suit.
board, but like, you know, like if it's gonna help me in rank, I might consider it.
I have not read anything in data mining as far as cap slowing down. I'm in most of the data mining thing. I haven't read anything or even anybody
Yeah.
bringing up. I don't think it's going to stop. I think it's just going to continue to go and keep going until it ends. So I haven't read anything in data mining. There hasn't even been an inkling of somebody mentioning it. So if anything, I think it's just like food for thought. You know what I mean? Maybe, but I haven't seen anything like
No.
confirmed. No.
So,
You know-
well,
Go ahead, Jacob.
so for me, I think I'm the same boat as you, for Frenzygrind. I never actually invest into the Miis until recently. I more and more dip into that process because the only thing I have is the question block Mii suit at 6 triple. And now, I mean, the first tour right now, I'm actually buying Mii suit, which I never do. And now I'm into expanding my Mushroom Legacy driver, which I made some rules. And now I just added 4 new Mii suit, which is cheap, and like Goombas and other like that to just cover me a little bit of more tracks because I'm like, well, I mean, if those I don't have top shelf and they bring so many new tracks, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna like just like play mid shelf. That could be that, but I mean, if the Mii suit, the optimal option, give me an extra track, which give me a little bit of coverage, I'm like, okay, then fine. The Miis will do the gaps which I need, and I'm pretty happy to have a little bit more Miis. I would not play all the Miis, but now like I have probably more than 10 or 15 options to use, which I'm happy to invest into them. And I'm just scared because the caps keep going higher, and it's just ridiculous how much like not even a single cap can beat any drivers you have in your collection. So like, what's the point to using a regular driver now? I'm still love my princess. I want to use my princess first, but like it's just too much now. Like when's it gonna end? Is it gonna fix the drivers? Probably not. Drivers would be always superior because they're gonna have a ton of buff compared to me. So it's very scary to invest in those. But I mean, now I have no choice to, if I want a little bit of, like I said in the rank, I have no choice now. So I'm gonna embrace the Mii more and more, and I'm happy to have expanded a little bit more of my Mii's collection, which I didn't want to, but that's that.
I'm glad that you've accepted some of these Mii suits into the Mushroom Legacy.
Cheap Mii suit level 6 double cap.
Wow.
Yes.
Some point when I happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think like to Sammy's comment, I think he buys into the Mii suits, but I think he just hasn't gone all in. I think he's kind of kept a couple chips to himself, which I think his thought process is if we get 50 Miis at some point in time, but they only allow you to get up to 30 Mii suits worth of base points added, then you don't need 20. So he just is kind of like not getting 5 here, 10 there later on, etc. So that's kind of his thought processes, and I think it would give him potentially some options to pivot later. But I also feel like it's kind of having you either believe it or not. Like you're either like I think it's like one of those things where you have to be all in or all out. But I think we're starting to see these players who were all out start to jump in, and even if they're getting their feet wet a little bit, I think it's great. I think ultimately it's going to help you across the board. Don't be afraid of it. It's never too late. We were saying this to Frenzygrind, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Never too late. Don't be afraid. That's the hard. I think a lot of people are sometimes hesitant to get Miis because they either feel it's too late or they're just like they feel like they're pot committed and they're right now
The hardest part is when you fall too far behind, and now you find yourself having to buy 3, 4, 5, 10 me suits. Now you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You know, especially
Yeah,
now.
no, it's like anything else that you could fight off, that it's, I think you're just kind of out of pride or some kind of, honestly, I feel like this thinking that there's going to be a cap on the me suits. I think a lot of people are doing it kind of as like a safety blanket, or as like well, I can't get them all, so I'm just going to hope that something is going to save me. But I really think that that's in this game, that's not always a great way to do things. I don't know if you guys ever feel that way, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with these.
I mean, I'm going to say it's a safety issue for people who are really hardcore in this game. Don't expect a cap. Just play the game. Spend your 70 rubies every tour. Keep leveling them up, because these things are not ending. These things are a monster.
One piece at a
Holy
time.
shoot, the block, they're a monster. Just
No, I mean, you don't have
Best.
to take the thing all the way to 7, 8. I mean, just start putting get a piece in here, get a piece, another piece the next door. That,
yeah,
you know,
take it
just
slow.
just like scores, just chip away. You know what I mean? Just
Chip away. Take it slow. Get yourself involved in the gold me and the block if you've been falling behind. Focus on those two first. By the time you're done with them, there'll probably be a new one, and you'll be ready to go in on them.
Well, I put a lot of tickets into the Gold Petey last week just to get this pit crew chief, and so I had the option of either using Rosalina Aurora at 700, or sorry, level 7, 800, or the Silver Me suit at level 4. At whatever, just, I think it was just single capped, but it was at something like 1300 or something, base points. And I could add just looking at the DKR spreadsheet, just inserting and changing out level 7 normal driver or level 4 me suit just with single capped, and I could get 5,000 extra points from the me suit.
Yeah.
4 levels, or 3 levels below. So again, it doesn't like just even if I had it, let's say even if I had half of the me's that I bought, it would still probably put it on par, So again, even if you're going half in, like, that's still better than not going in at all. So just my recommendation is not too late there. There's one last question I want to get to before we wrap up, because we are closing in on 2 hours here. That's about battle mode. So what
Really?
Ooh,
yeah, I have to ask you guys.
We
That's
can't
how I
answer that
feel.
question. Just
Get
talk
your
about life.
face, dude.
Well, because it's in ranked this tour, guys, and so it's one of those
that
things.
makes me mad.
When
I
it's not
did
ranked,
not want it.
we can try to avoid talking about it, but it's in ranked. There's some heated questions. I think Big Brolo and Edina both asked kind of similar questions. Big Brolo asked, what has been everyone's strategy with the New York Minute Battle Course? Any pro tips for those farming a high score? So put multiplayer aside, single player. Now in ranked, what strategies would you have for players trying to win ranked, try to get those extra rubies or tickets for this battle mode New York track?
I have the best advice. First, do not play my concept, because you're gonna have a cat B suit, which is level 1 terrible for action counts. I would just take a coin box and have fun, because coin box is the key, and I think action count is the key of this, and lucky 7. So those are always going to be the best option, and just do circles. But do not use cat me racing suit. Do not. You're gonna have like less than 100 action.
That makes no
It's
sense
terrible.
for New York Minute, but thank you for that.
You're welcome. That's my piece of advice. I mean, I play with what I have. I mean,
Let's skip Meowser and go straight to the level 7. Okay,
And this is
cat me
why
suit.
I got
I love it.
What were you say?
Well, like I just got a lobby yesterday where I had to reset the lobby because I had probably the most annoying character in there, which was the Funky Kong, and I do not want him messing around with me
There's no high
trying to
score
coin
coming with
box.
that
Like those banana cannons, those are the worst. I think that's
I'm
worse
never
than
that
bubble.
accurate when I use it. That's for sure.
Like I always
Oh,
thought it was worse than bubble. Like I would never use the banana cannon. I can never put
I like
myself
the
to.
banana cannon. I do.
I
That's
like your
cool.
battle mode. I'll tell you that. If there are no frenzies available, yeah, the banana can's almost like getting a giant banana frenzy mixed with a banana frenzy.
I like the banana cannon in general, just on a track. And I'll tell you why. You are going to slip on your banana. You are.
Oh, yeah.
You have thrown
And you gotta throw your
so
own
many
green
in
shell
front of
ahead of you and you're done.
No, what happens is that you throw out so many in front of you, you're probably going to run over one. But by the time you recover and start your mini, you're getting hits. So you don't really technically lose combo. That makes sense. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
could already
Actually probably helps it because you slow down enough to get those extra actions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not losing combo. I mean, I'm boom right into it, and I'm still getting banana hits. So I mean, it is a technical skill. You can't just shoot them straight.
Yeah.
You got to like be.
I would say restart for a coinbox frenzy. If not, what frenzy I would say has worked really well off the start, because you're getting a lot of bonus points off of balloon hits, is the bomb frenzy. I would start right off the boom, and I would get like 6 or 7 balloon hits from bomb frenzies going forward, because in New York Minute they all go forward. They come from this way and they all go straight. So you throw your bombs forward, and you're getting like 5 to 7 bomb hits, getting the balloons, popping the balloons, and that's where the bonus points are coming from. So if you can get that and then kind of turn and then go for the coinbox frenzy quick, you're good. But obviously that's hard. So
True.
I saw a video and somebody was just going back and forth in like in the cross area, right in the center, and they were just getting coinbox frenzies and so on. But I tried a boomerang because I want to see if I can use or do a boombox with boomerang bro. But you kill your coinbox too quick. Like you'll take his 2 balloons out and then he's gone, and then you can't do anything. So that's not a good strategy, I think, for that.
I mean, unless you get really lucky, I feel like these battles, you just gotta grind it for like over and over and over and over and over.
My personal opinion,
It took me like a day to actually get a decent score. So it's just all about luck. Getting a good run over and over and over. Sucks, but it is what it
I
is.
still think you have to set off the first box. I mean, to be honest with you, because you're trying to get that well
Yeah,
thought.
you restart for the coinbox frenzy, and you just gotta pray you get a coin frenzy and whatever.
And mini box.
Over and over and over. Just
I
go.
think that me personally, I think that everybody looks way too much into it. I think it's very A, B, and C. It's called battle mode. You don't want to, you know what I mean? I had a 61, what did I have? A 60, almost 61K run on that New York. I raced it for 3 days. Couldn't come close. I had a 60, and if I were to give any advice about battle mode, it'd be very simple. Is it just think of the name. The best frenzy you want to get is a mushroom frenzy, in my opinion, because it does so much damage running into them. The key objective that I've learned on battle mode is very simple, is that yes, you want to obtain a good action count, but you don't need a ridiculous action count to achieve a high score. It's called battle mode, guys. Go fight. Go battle these guys. If you see, go after them.
The balloons gives you the biggest bonus.
Well, the problem is everybody runs. Everybody's going in the corner.
You're hiding. Yeah,
well,
get
great,
the balloons.
you know what I mean? But you want to. People don't realize that it's called battle mode. So when you do hit these guys and you do run them over with or you do drop bombs, you do all that, you get your points. They don't realize that your points are.
Well, that's what I was saying. When I started out with a bomb, when I started out with a bomb frenzy right off the bat, I would get like 4 to 6 balloon hits, and I'd be up to 10K immediately.
A lot of it has
you gotta pop the balloons.
I think a lot has to do if you can get a lobby that's pretty decent, like tough bots, and they don't all die within a minute. Just literally go for the kill, guys. Don't run from these guys. Yeah. You know what? Go for it. And you know what? Just chase after them. You know what I mean? The more hits you get with the more accumulated actions, there's your score.
Don't restart the bomb frenzy and don't restart the green shell frenzy, because you can get a bunch of hits right off the bat. Make your turn and see what you get. Yeah. Then you restart if you don't get anything.
Yeah. Interesting point there.
First 3 boxes, guys, you don't get coin frenzy, mushroom.
Get out. Yeah.
Start. You're wasting time. The only thing you're doing out of that, Well, after that point, the only thing you're doing after that is working on your challenge card, the red one.
You're just hurting your thumb a little more.
Do all your fantastic combos. You know, start work on them there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But first 3 item boxes, nothing good.
Get in and get out. Get in and get out.
Mhm.
Good advice.
No, all really good advice. I will say, you know, when it comes to, you know, for this battle mode and ranked, I mean, or just any of the all cup ranking, whatever it is, if it's single player, it's got to be coinbox. And for me, what one thing I like about it is that you know, you can kind of turn around pretty easy. So you kind of get your coinbox and then turn around and then just your crap.
Oh man, you got some mega mini turbos in battle mode. Wow. You know what I mean?
So yeah, but getting extra actions from mini turbos. I mean, the thing is, like when you're getting coinbox friends, you're getting single. Most of the time you're going straight, so you're not getting the turbos. But those actions just add up so quickly. I'm a big believer of just resetting off the first item box. To be honest, with you.
It's those dead spots that kill you.
That could be smart too. It's either or.
Yeah. I got like a 64, 65, something in there, that range. And like it was out of the blue. It was just like it felt like it was like the exact same run that I got with other stuff, but just like I just happened to get like an extra single box or an extra, you know,
that was me on Twilight House last tour. I was racing it for 3 days. I couldn't get anything. All of a sudden I got a 65K run randomly out of nowhere.
Just like that, right? And it didn't even seem that great.
I feel like you have to race it for 3 days. Like it's just too much time though. It's like
just
give me something quicker. I don't have this much time.
Any strategies you would tweak though for multiplayer as I don't know if anyone's moved up to S+1.
Yeah, I got a strategy for that. Race with your friends. Me, Brad, and Godmode played for like an hour and a half, and my grade went up 2 grades just playing them for fun.
I didn't even know that you could do that. Thank you.
Yeah,
so you're saying
just playing you guys for like.
Yeah, not through a room code though, right? You just joined the friend, right?
No, we played the same thing you guys do on Mondays. You played each other and friends, and I
don't think the level changes though, does it?
No, mine did. I went up to C.
I don't mind.
I don't play. You know,
you get experience points, don't you, when you play?
Yeah.
You just gotta get first or second.
All right. Hey, well, there you go.
Play with your friends, you'll go up still. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. No, that's helpful. I appreciate that. Cool. All right. Well, that's any changes any other additional changes you would make for multiplayer that you wouldn't suggest for a single player?
I think like triple green shell is very good into multiplayer, as if you want to like gain
because it protects you in a way, right?
Yeah, it protects you and it hits like enemy like very fast. So yeah.
You don't like the bell? What do you think about the bell?
I don't know. Like I have like situation where I have a bell and I still get hit by something, which it was like a lucky 7, but I have a super bell. So how I'm getting hit still? So I don't know. I think like green shell is like triple green shell is way too much OP.
I use heart or the bell. Actually, I do like the bell. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
For multiplayer.
But I am going to start using heart. Thank you. Yes, I never thought about that.
Cards, man, it's too broken.
I would say
I do see people. I don't know if this is like just on Twilight House or I kind of see it on the New York Minute as well. But like people kind of do like the circles in the corner, and then I guess
get them.
It's fun.
I gotta give props to my homie Brad, because when you and Brad were playing God mode, that guy used a super leaf and he crushed me every time I went near him.
Yeah,
I used a super leaf. He just crushed me every time I went past him. And I started using it, and I started crushing him. He was like, "God damn it!"
Yeah,
I've never tried it. I'll use it though. I'll try it out.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we are now at basically coming up on the 2-hour mark. I can't believe 2 hours have flown by, but thank you guys for joining us. Typically what we do at this point in time in the show is just to make a recommendation to a newer player. So we've kind of set that like in the last 6 months in the past, but I think now let's think about like you're talking to somebody that just joined maybe right after King Mario, and they avoided having to put all their rubies to try to pull on King Mario, but they're new to the game. to them, they don't know anything else outside from the Spotlight Shop, from me's, etc. But what one recommendation would you have to a newer player to help them get caught up to speed on what we know and all the knowledge that we've accumulated over a period of time, or just ways that you found that you would recommend playing the game, or finding some philosophical changes there? But what one recommendation would you have to a newer player? We'll start with you, Hula Hoop.
So my recommendation is, especially since I started at launch, is build your account up slowly, but also join the other Discords, because I found it really helpful. Like these past two tours, between the past two tours, I managed to pull out 2 different 1 million scores. And it's like I haven't done that since launch. Like I've never been able to do that. So it's like I think my account's finally in a place where it's actually able to compete with like the Dolphins, and at least with the Dolphins.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, go to our servers, and you're just like, that's some super sketch. And like Discord, like, I don't know. I want to figure that out. I remember even before I played Mario Kart Tour, I was playing like Pokemon Go, and people were starting to switch over from Facebook groups to Discord. It seemed super confusing, seemed super daunting. And so I ended up giving up on it. It wasn't until I started playing Mario Kart Tour when actually I felt comfortable with Discord. It is very intimidating at first, but I promise you, to Will Loop's point, it is well worth it. That's where you find so many great communities, and you have discussions that will actually help you. If you actually are skeptical that people can help you, I can guarantee you will learn something from being in many of the Discord. Maybe there's some that you may not learn anything, but I think most of them you'll pick up something that'll help you. I agree there. Godmode, what recommendation would you have to a newer player?
It's probably the same as the first two. Is just get in, find a little group of people you are comfortable with, and just kind of like just start building your account slowly but surely. Race for yourself though. If you like something, invest into it. Find, if you are nervous about getting into Discord, get your feet wet, jump on in, and you really realize that the community is actually really awesome, guys. There's a lot of really helpful people. You know what I mean? You're going to get the ones that, of course, there's bad apples, but for the most part, I think we have a really wonderful community. So surround yourself with just a couple good friends, and just ask for advice, and and don't fear reaching out for advice either. There's nothing wrong with private DMing somebody, guys, and saying, hey, what do you think? You'd be surprised on how many people want to help and are really nice. So, don't be afraid to ask questions. And and don't be afraid to invest in what you like into too. You know what I mean? And have fun with the game, guys. That's probably my advice.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. What about you, Raz? What piece of advice would you have to a newer player?
Yeah, invest in what you like. If it's if you like small karts, invest in those. If you like large karts, invest in that. If you like green shelf gliders, invest in that. But just have fun. And yeah, like everybody said on Discord, don't be afraid to ask a question.
Yeah,
hey,
don't.
which glider should I upgrade here? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to jump in and say, you should definitely invest in this one because it gives you this coverage or that coverage and so on. So just, don't be shy. And, there's a lot of great people here, and they're all willing to help.
Yeah, no, great point there. Draco 655, what piece of advice would you have to a newer player?
That's a tough question, to be honest. I think I would say invest into the Mushroom Legacy. There's no other ways. Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina, you peel your pillars. They're great. Also, I would say stop into the Spotlight Shop. Do not buy everything you saw there. Try to pick your items, because it's a lot of a trap, and don't be just take what you like, and also don't follow the metas, because I think this is maybe the wrong way to play it. You play for have fun. This is the most important. This is why I play my concept. This is why I love the game. You play with amazing, like all those friends here, which I'm talking right now. They all give you a lot of advice, everything. That's great, but play your meta. Don't play the meta, and play Mushroom Legacy.
Yeah. I'll add a little bit of an asterisk on that, in that I think everyone should find what they enjoy. And specifically, I think a lot of people say that, but like, I think it's really important to just say, like, you can't buy, you made a good point. You can't buy everything in the Spotlight Shop. So ask yourself, like, what item do I want to be using every single time? And for me, it's like the tropical truck. Maybe it makes more sense to, have quad capped the yellow off-roader, which is, I also enjoy, but I don't like it. I don't enjoy it as much. It doesn't put a big enough smile on my face as the tropical truck, but you can't quad everything. So you do have to just kind of soul search and just ask yourself, do I really like this or do I like that? And so, but once you have selected that pillar, then rely on the meta. I think, the meta will fill in a lot of great gaps for you to complement what you love. And so use the meta to complement, don't use the meta to be, the primary source of your account. That's the asterisk I put on there, but I agree with you, Draco, there. Z, what piece of advice would you have to newer players, man?
Yeah, you kind of stole what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. So if you're targeting specifically a new player, just be careful using your rubies on the Spotlight Shop, because if you're just jumping into this game in the last 6 months, you're going to see 6 drivers, 6 karts, 6 gliders, and you're behind in the game compared to us. So you're going to want everything. You're going to want to buy everything. So just be careful with the ruby bundles, just trying to catch up. I wouldn't go that route. I would just get yourself onto a sheet, see what items make sense for you, and just kind of just look at it and see what item I need that's going to help my account the most without spending the most money, and just, go about it that way, because this could really be daunting for you as a new player. That Spotlight Shop could be really nasty. Players like us, former whales, I mean, we got most of this stuff, so this is nothing for us. You walk into this game and you want to catch up, this is a problem for them, especially if you don't have especially if you're someone who just wants to catch up quick and you want to get back into the game. So just, I don't know, just
if I can give a last piece of advice to the racers out there that are probably just starting out, this is pretty key, critical. Guys, commons and supers are good.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that a level 8 common has the same base points as a level 8 high end. Do they know that? The only thing that separates them is the cap level. That is it. But the base points from a common, maybe not a common, a super to a high end are identical.
Well, it's different. You're talking to a new player. They might not know that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Try to give advice about that. From commons to even supers, guys, if you can get that thing to a level 6, and say you had a high end level 6, it's identical base points. The only thing that separates is the cap. So don't lose focus on commons or supers. They could still be extremely valuable to the account until you can possibly build to that level of where you would want to be eventually.
Right.
I guess my point is, it's just you're looking at a lot of items in the Spotlight Shop. Don't have your tongue sticking out of your mouth like, I got to get everything. I just started this game. Look at all these items. I want to catch up quick. And now you see a bunch of ruby bundles. Don't do it. Just get on a sheet, figure out what 1 or 2 items maybe per tour will bring you the most value, and work with that, because you're going to find yourself in a really bad spot. And
one thing at a time.
As most of us whales know, former, present, whatever, we got ourselves in a really bad spot that we could not get ourselves out of. And I got myself out of it. I don't buy any ruby bundles moving forward. I do premium challenges only. I'm not bringing myself back to that spot. My account's solid enough. I don't need to do it. What I can say is to new players, just figure it out, get on the sheet, figure out what of these items are strong, buy those. Use your rubies the right way. Buy those. Don't buy everything you don't have, because that's just going to kill you. You're going to be broke. You're going to be divorced. I don't know, whatever else you're going to be, it's going to happen. Just figure it out. What's going to work for your account? Maybe 1, 2 items per tour and move forward. That's all I can say to you. Just move forward smartly.
Yeah. What I will say, I will add something to, because I agree. I don't think anything needs to be added to Z. I think you added that. You said that perfectly. I will add something to Godmode about the supers and the normals. I think one of the things that I want to be doing for the rundown in some future episodes is kind of just talk about what would pair really well just for tracks this year, because I do because most of the time when we're talking about supers and normals, they have a lot of these, Shy Guy Bazaar or Neo Bowser or Dino Jungle. So like sometimes you can just use a super on those older tracks, but sometimes these newer tracks, they don't have supers. It's nice that they've kind of been adding them sporadically in there, like this, Orange Yoshi is on the track and whatever. I just want to say, maybe maybe you don't need a gold Cooper free running, but you kind of take a super and quad cap it and use that on these older tracks, because most of the time you're not gonna be able to use a super on a brand new track. So my recommendation, just to kind of run off of what Godmode said is, take a look at your account and see, what newer coverage versus older coverage. And I'll help you with that too on the rundown. Turtle Dude has a filter that can just take a look at tracks this year. But yeah, just don't focus on the older tracks. If you can use a super, if you can use a normal, go ahead and do it. You're probably going to do just as fine with it. But these newer tracks, that's why, like, you may not want to invest. If you're brand new, you may not want to invest in a Gold Cooper free running or even like a Peach Vacation or something else, because you probably can get good coverage with a super or normal on those tracks. So there you go, guys. Well, we now have wrapped up 2 complete hours. Thank you, guys. Thank you to the guests here for joining us here on a really late Friday night, but those who are watching on a Saturday morning or after the weekend, thank you guys for taking the time to watch 2 hours of bunch of fellas just chatting about Mario Kart Tour. But honestly, this game is a lot of fun. We hope that you continue playing and hope that you continue enjoying the channel. If you like this video, please click the little like button. That will help other people be able to see that it exists. But we have some faithfuls who watch every single episode, probably about 1,000 of you guys. I just thank you so much for the support over the last year and a couple months of doing this Kart Talk. It's been fun being able to bring in some of my friends into the show. And until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you.
And listen, don't sell yourself short for wearing that outfit every time we come on to a video, please. Awesome.
We need more costume.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Wear some more stupid outfits every time we come on here. It would be awesome. And if
my piece of advice for new players: don't get in bets. You can't follow up on.
Hey, listen, I'm with you. I'll do the same thing if I lose a bet. It's all good.
Well, may the frenzy luck be with you, regardless of what outfit you're wearing. See you guys.
See ya.